right, we are live. So I'm not quite sure why I'm showing as Andy Hallett. I am a much better looking version of Andy, but there we go. So Dexter Dyer, thank you very much for joining us. How are you today?
I'm great. Just recovered from the bank holiday, but we're getting there.
Yes, true. Recovering from what feels like a little bit of a non-event summer. I kind of feel like we didn't even have one.
No, it's fingers crossed we get back some sort of normality soon.
I know. Well, yeah, I was chatting with some of our guys on the mastermind course actually over in Australia today and feeling for them because they're going into lockdown, whatever number they can't even remember anymore. So, I think whilst it's been challenging, we're counting our lucky stars over here with the vaccination program. So fingers crossed. But anywho, Dexter, look, before we sort of get chatting, give people a little bit of an overview about you. So you are, I've had a look on here, partner for Umbrella Accountants or Cloud Accountants. Is that right?
Yeah, so we've got a number of different brands. We've got Umbrella Accountants, which is an accountancy practice for contractors, through to Cloud Accountants, which is an e-commerce accountancy practice. So within it, it's got a tech team who look after the sort of transactional sides, all you guys selling on Amazon, eBay, all those people my wife spends a fortune with every week. Yeah, we're the accountants for those guys, handling the transactional side from the Amazon type platform through to Zero and ensuring that the VAT's correct and all the rest of it. And then we have agency accountant, which is agency accountant develops on the back of the fact that we've been sort of dealing with recruitment agencies for the last 12 years. So we've got a good understanding of the market and put a sort of accountancy practice together that focuses purely on recruitment agencies and those supporting recruitment agencies.
Yeah, and that for us has been such a game changer to have sort of a provider that understands the recruitment sector. And I think, if I look back at our previous sort of accountants that we've had in the years, as often the case, I think from a smaller company perspective, you get referred accountants that have, family friends or friends of friends or someone's used it. And, you kind of think, oh, that's fine and everything. And we've had the odd bad sort of experience, but you generally just think, oh, well, it's an accountant, that's fine. But then once you get a bit of a taste for what it can be like to have an accountant that actually understands nuances of recruitment and takes you from sort of that just reactive deal with my accounts because I don't want to deal with them to let's actually do some proactive sort of work together, it's really a game changer.
Yeah, I mean, it's great to hear that things are going well and the team looking after you, first of all. But also, I mean, from our perspective, when we did the market research for agency accountant, we soon realised that, as you just said then, a lot of people are using accountants that are reactive rather than proactive. And probably the biggest example of that being important was during the lockdown with things like the CBIL loans and just supporting those businesses get through that really difficult stage. And I'm pleased to say we're starting to see, certainly the recruitment sector is flying at the moment. Which is great to see, and we're starting to see sort of businesses really taking back off. But yeah, showing a proactive approach rather than a reactive approach for things like that. But at the same time, industry updates, because if you're doing permanent recruitment or contract recruitment as a business, things change all the time from legislation changes, and we've just gone through IR35, so we did a big piece with the agency accounting customers, supporting them with that. Through to the key information document requirement, intermediary reporting, those types of things. So yeah, I think that's where we differ from your sort of everyday accountants, is that we understand the business that we're supporting. And that's something that a lot of accountants just haven't got to do, if that makes sense. They'll take on a customer because it's like you say, it's their friend's relative, and actually doesn't understand the business and how they can support or how they should be supporting them. So yeah, it's been a big eye opener for a lot of customers, and it's great to see that you've experienced that yourselves.
Yeah, and I mean, the more I kind of think about it, the more I think about it almost in that sort of recruitment viewpoint and terminology. Like if I was a company, I wouldn't necessarily go to a generalist recruiter. I would probably go to someone that's a niche specialist because they really specialize in that area and the support that I need. Yeah, I think a lot of people don't, like, I've never previously kind of really looked at that with accountancy. I think a lot of people go into automatic mode of, oh, well, it's just number crunching and processing, but actually to start to understand how you can better not only support your business, but even understand your business. So understanding the numbers more, understanding how that affects your business, like it really does make a difference. And I mean, we had, unfortunately, a bit of a nightmare situation the time before where we just didn't even do our proper due diligence. So, you know, I think it's even having that level of comfort of knowing not only are you guys industry specialists, but you've been around for a long time now, haven't you?
Yeah, we've been around for about 12.5 years. Yeah, just on what you said there, I think that's absolutely incremental, understanding the business that you're looking after. Being able to not only support from a standard accountancy practice, telling you how you can be working as efficiently as possible, through to, I mean, if you think about most businesses, most recruitment businesses start off from one person deciding, I'm going to do it on myself.
Yeah.
And actually, most recruiters or big billers or people that have been successful in recruitment aren't always the most sort of efficient or sort of great with bookkeeping and stuff like that. So that's where a good accountant comes in who can support them with not only setting up the business, but also helping them from cash flows through to them working efficiently as an individual, through to what things that they need. I mean, when we did the research, we realized a lot of recruiters, established recruiters, do the accountants' work for them. So they're actually doing a load of work that actually is taking up time where they could be recruiting and doing it for their accountant, and purely because they've probably not got the right software in place and support.
Yeah, and that's interestingly something that we talk about a lot on, like in our mastermind course. So I have a session with the newest sort of group tomorrow around, you know, operations and tech stack, and we talk a lot about looking at, you know, return on investment from technology and / or services, not only from sort of a direct monetary perspective, but also from a time perspective, which leads to monetary perspective. And there's a lot of people who I think you've referenced there, great example, big billers that kind of go, right, I'm going to go out on my own and do it. And then they sometimes find themselves getting caught up in this sort of back end business stuff, which they don't really know the best themselves, you know, and this is a prime example of things that, you know, you should be outsourcing, like you should be handing to people who can do it far better than you probably, but also allowing you to get back to what you're actually meant to be doing and what you're really good at.
Yeah, and you're absolutely right. And there's so much technology out there. Like, for example, we're always looking at the different, for example, if you're a contract recruiter, you're going to need one of two things. You're going to need a timesheet portal for your temps to put their hours into, or you're potentially going to need a factorer who's going to basically have a timesheet portal in the background. And we're always looking at the different options available for our clients and who's got the best tech platform. It's all about simplicity, because what we realized in the market research again was that recruiters just like things easy. You want to be able to pick up the phone, have a conversation with someone, and then move back on to what they do best, which is the recruitment. So yeah, having the right technology in place is absolutely vital. And for us, it's about supporting our agency account customers by going out and doing that research and having partners or businesses we can introduce them to that they need to know, because other agencies use them and they're good at what they do. So
yeah, and I think, yeah, and I think as well, it comes into that integration piece as well, you know, so looking at your ATS, like I spoke with someone the other day who, you know, they're using Xero, which is a very common sort of platform. And I know you guys use it, we use it. You know, and I was like, have you got it integrated into your ATS? And they're like, oh, I think so. And then when they went and looked at it, they were like, no, I haven't. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like even simple things, but it's just providing some help and guidance with that.
Yeah, I mean, certainly every week when we take on a new agency, one of the big things for us, big learning curves, is understanding what that agency is using within Xero, or what they're using in terms of accountancy software. A lot will use Xero purely because of the fact that you can have all the add-ons with Xero, like Receipt Bank and all these other useful tools. But certainly there's features within Xero that a lot of agencies that we speak to who are using it don't use. and we'll point them in that direction and say, listen, there's really key features here that you can be using that we know other agencies do. And I suppose that's the key thing, is that over the last sort of 10, 12 years, we understood how businesses have grown from startup recruiters to established recruitment businesses, and what they use in terms of the features, and just providing that support, I suppose, to new agencies or established.
And on the sort of in terms of size for clients that you guys can really kind of provide that level of support to, specifically on the sort of agency accountant side, are we talking hundreds of people, or what's kind of your main people that you're best supporting?
I'd probably say the largest recruiter we've got on the books at the moment has about 50 staff. So to give you an idea of sort of numbers and size-wise and stuff like that, you do get to a point at some stage where you are in a position where you can have a management accountant internally. Then you're using one of the top 4 accountants to do your books and stuff like that. So yeah, we don't have a huge amount of large agencies, established agencies. What we purely focus ourselves in is taking that startup agency to an established recruiter through to those established agencies, and giving them the opportunity to grow further by using the knowledge that's available to them within the team.
Yeah, which is essential. And it's really like, if I think of, one of the people in the course that I know has made the switch over to you guys as well recently as well, she just felt it was more that she even needed kind of someone that she could feel comfortable asking lots of questions to. And I know you guys obviously have the team account, which you can always email. And, for her, it was just even that. It was like that extra level of support to kind of say, hey, clients ask me about this or that, like, can I pick your brain, because at that level, that sort of, one-man band up to 50s, the business owner is usually the front person for a lot of the account style questions.
Yeah, you're right. And it's all, to be honest with you, a lot of the case when we hear or speak to customers, their accountants have complicated things by speaking in a terminology that they just didn't understand, and they didn't feel that they were sort of sorting in the way that they wanted. So being able to take things from what the accountant's saying, bringing it down into layman's terms so that everyone understands it is absolutely vital, and certainly why we have a client relationship manager within the agency accountant setup to be able to give that sort of support in that respect.
Yeah. So what would be a bit of advice would you say then? So like, I'm a big biller in a company, I'm going to branch out on my own, I've got to get all my stuff sorted, I need to find an accountant. Now, obviously, we're going to say that, they should use you guys, but if they were going to go and they were going to do sort of a review, what type of due diligence things should they look for when they're looking to select an accountant?
Okay, so, I mean, firstly, obviously, setting up your business sounds like quite a daunting thing to do. So a lot of people I've spoken to over the years who you wouldn't think would find setting up on their own a daunting thing, because they're used to working for someone else. They're not used to that sort of onus on and sort of relying on themselves. But actually setting up their own limited company is a very, very simple thing to do. And the other things you're going to need is a business bank account. Now, you can work smart. There's certainly banks out there. NatWest give away free agent to their customers, which is a good accountancy platform to use if you're a startup agency and you're a one-man band, and to keep costs down. Then you've got things like, is your accountant's got partners? So, for example, if you're looking at doing contract recruitment, or if you're looking at doing permanent recruitment, but you're going to need invoice discounting, is there someone that they can introduce you to that can explain it, again, in layman's terms, what you're going to need when doing so? And then it's looking at how you can sort of cost yourself so that you can take your first member of staff on, whether that be a resourcer or whatever, looking at what you need to do to get to that step in your business career or structure. But yeah, finding the accountants that understands what you do is absolutely vital, because otherwise you'll sit with all the other customers with that accountants, hoping that they may give you some advice that might save you some money, and you probably never get it.
Yeah, I think the layman's terms, I know for me, was essential. I remember the amount of times I used to get previous accountant emails and I would literally read it and just be like, this is gobbledygook. Like, I don't know what this means. So, just having it in a relatable fashion is something.
Yeah, and it's just having the software and everything in place. So if you're starting your own agency, you've got your limited company set up, you've got your business bank, you've got your insurances in place. What many people don't realize is you need an accountant from day one, because that's when it starts. When it comes to your tax, you're going to have to do a self-assessment. So and that starts from the new tax year. So there's all these things you need to understand, but if you've got a good accountant in place, it gives you the reassurance to just crack on with what you do, which is recruitment, and know that everything's being handled for you. And that's vital.
Yeah. I think as well for contract recruiters, even more so, it's probably that daunting perspective because, your previous business is always taking care of all of that sort of thing. And there's so many more complexities, all really achievable and possible, but, definitely that support really needed.
Yeah, there's so many different solutions out there. I mean, you could start up tomorrow, have a factor timesheet portal in place. For your candidates to put the timesheets in, it sends the client a message to say, approve this timesheet. You then, as an agency, get paid your margin, and that money goes over to set limited company or set umbrella company, depending on who's paying them. It isn't as daunting as it sounds. It is pretty straightforward, and certainly the right accountants can talk you through that in layman's terms and make sure you're good to go. So.
Yeah. And with IR35, I'm not going to pretend to know very much related to that because it's not our world, but how do you guys kind of best support in that way?
Yeah, I mean, there's so many things. For example, we'd speak to agencies that we were onboarding around the April time, who their accountants had not even discussed IR35 with them, and these are established contract recruiters. So they were asking us for advice before they'd even onboarded with us. IR35 affects contractors, and if you're paying contractors as a recruiter, you need to establish a process internally as to how you're going to deal with IR35 in terms of the reporting side of it, so ensuring that your client's giving you that determination, and then also looking at the solutions out there that come with insurance-backed policies that will cover you if you're paying someone outside IR35. So yeah, the support's there to provide any agency account customer with support on IR35, whether it's giving you the basics on what IR35 is and how agencies go about tackling it, through to basically the liabilities that are involved in it, and opening up payment solutions for you. So one agency partner, we introduced a PAYE solution for their contractors because their client required them to be paid PAYE, through to those that need to use an umbrella solution. We have an umbrella company that we can introduce. So yeah.
I suppose that's quite beneficial as well, where you're sort of multi-branded. So you've got sort of support in other areas of the business as well.
100%. So we've had Umbrella.co.uk, our umbrella business, for 12.5 years, as I say. And that's one of the established providers in the market, and it's audited annually by Ernst & Young as part of the FCSA accreditation. And that's a key factor that a lot of big clients require agencies to pick up. So a lot of end clients now are looking at the supply chain that recruiters are using due to the liabilities that follow. So certainly that's something that we cover off. And having an FCSA accredited umbrella brand of our business is great as a sort of a tool for the agency accountant customers to use.
Yeah, definitely. One of the things I really try and stress to the guys as well when we're going through the courses, I think a lot of them almost kind of get put off a bit by understanding their accounts. They kind of, I need to do that, and then my accountant will kind of handle it. But, I really try and encourage them that, if they better understand the cost base within their business, it will allow them to make better business decisions in the future when it comes to hiring, when it comes to introducing new technology, when it comes to getting rid of technology. And I really think as well, especially for people that have moved from a company and are then going and doing it themselves, you kind of miss a little bit, I suppose, that I'm the biggest filler in the room, or like I'm part of this team or whatever. So by understanding your accounts better and knowing, wow, actually I've really smashed it this month, and this is my cost, and this is my exact profit, and all of that, and getting comfortable with your numbers and knowing it, like it gives you a level of confidence, I think, as a business owner, to complement alongside your sort of recruitment skills.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. What some people soon realise when they've gone into that world, I mean, so many people during lockdown who were furloughed or let go, set up on their own, set their own limited company up, have now got an accountancy in place and are out there actively recruiting. What they soon realised is they didn't actually need to bill that much to earn the same money that they were used to earning in their permanent job, because straight away all of it's profit. And straight away they can pay themselves in a lot more tax efficient way of paying themselves. So basic wage, dividends. They've also got the opportunity to offset expenses through the limited company. So yeah, soon someone will realise straight away that actually I can be earning more money but billing less, and really push on. And then in terms of sort of factoring in things like the first hire, that's one of the most exciting things for customers of ours when we speak to them and they say, right, I'm ready to make that move. I've hit this target of where I wanted to be in terms of money in the bank with the business. I want to make my first hire, and then we put them in touch with contract specialists who can support when putting contracts in place for employees and stuff like that. So there's all these different things you have to consider when you're running your own business, but having accountants that can support is always helpful.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Well, look, that's 20 minutes gone already. It happens so fast, but really, really appreciate the time. Thank you so much, Dexter. So tell people, where can they find you if they want to reach out?
Yeah, so Dexter Dyer, Cloud Accountants Agency Accountants, email dexter.dyer@cloudaccountant.co.uk. Direct line 01625 544 679, or you can get me on the mobile 07825 605 407. Always free for a chat, even if it's just that you're thinking of making that move, or you're with an accountant at the moment who isn't giving you that support, is acting as reactive rather than proactive. Get in touch, give me a call, we'll have a chat, we'll have a Zoom call, whatever it may be, and give you an overview of what our offering is, and you can make an informed decision whether that works for you.
Yeah, and look, definitely, as I said before, I mean, we have never looked back since we made the switch, and I really feel like that key understanding of the recruitment industry for us has been an absolute game changer. So I second that to anyone that is thinking or questioning it. And also as well, the transition was so smooth. It was an absolute dream. So yeah, highly recommended.
Good stuff. Good to hear.
Cool. Look, thanks, Dexter. Thank you so much. And no doubt we will catch up again soon.
Speak to you soon. Take care.
Okay.